Hello, my friends. You're welcome. My name is Jerry Odu. My friends call me Jerry Ken. And what do I need to start as an MC? Coming up. Okay, you're welcome. My name is Jerry, and I'm a broadcaster in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. I work with Family Love 97.7 FM, and I host the Big Beat Drive Time show. And it's a platform I love so much. I get to share my essence on radio. I play good songs, and I also talk about topics and issues that are so dear to my heart. Now, when I'm not on radio, when I'm not doing TV, I'm hosting events somewhere in the city of Port Harcourt, and it's a job I love so much. It's very exciting if you know what you're doing, but if you don't, it can be a disaster. And I don't pray you should find yourself in that spot. But being an MC there's an art to it, and there's also a science to it. There's a fine art of being an MC, and also a science to it. I see people a lot. Jama is right here. Okay, don't worry, continue. All right, there's a fine art. Leave on, just continue. Continue, no worry. All right, there's a fine art and a science to being a great event host MC or a super MC, if you want to call it that way. Now, the talent, the act, the talent, there's a fine art to being an effective, there's a fine art to being an effective event host MC or a super MC, if you want to call it that way. And there's also a science to it. The talent, the gift, that's the art. But the way you carry yourself, the poise, the rules, the definitions, these are the science. And that's what sets you apart from Mr. B. Sets A from B. That's the difference. And one of the things I love about being an event host MC, it's very fascinating. You get, travel opportunities are there. You learn and you meet interesting people, learn from different cultures, and the opportunities are just so much. But also I love the stories, especially if hosting a social event, for instance, like a marriage ceremony, or a birthday or anniversary. I love the stories behind it, especially when it has to do with marriage. Like, I get to interview the couples and ask them questions like, how did you meet? Who was the first person to say I love you? The stories behind, the marriage and how they came together. I love the stories so much. That's one thing I love about marriages a lot. And if you're not married, you can also call me. If you want to get married, you can call me to MC event. That's a good one, right? Okay, so when it's a corporate event or a social event, I love it so much. Now, whenever I'm hosting a social event, whenever I'm anchoring a corporate event, now that's a different territory. Like, it's a very different territory. The audience, it's very different from a social event, but there's a common ground somewhere. Now, one of the things I love about corporate event is that I get to learn something so much from it, whether it's in the communication industry or finance world or whatever it is. Like, I have a great team working with me, so I get to learn the terms and the terminologies in that industry. I get to learn so much about it, and so you sound very enlightened, you sound very knowledgeable, because the people you're talking to are also very enlightened, so you don't want to go there and just mess yourself up. A repeat business is something that's also very good. So people ask me this question: what's the one thing I need to start or to begin this journey as an effective event host MC? For me, you don't need a fancy office. You don't need that. You also don't need you don't need a lot of things. A fancy office, you don't need that. Just hold that thought.